Good morning. It's a foggy morning this morning. I'm hoping my mind isn't as foggy as the day is today. I'm going to continue sharing some insights I have on the Book of Mormon, doing a Book of Mormon commentary. I'm moving on to chapter 2 of the first book of Nephi. So now technically we're on the second and third pages of the Book of Mormon. And I love to drive because I listen to the Book of Mormon on my CD-ROM, and it puts me in a good spirit, and it gives me more insights. I'm going through the Book of Mormon for the second time. I'm up into the Book of Mosiah right now. But for our commentary on the second chapter of Nephi, I have been reading Brant Gardner's commentary. Now, I have discussed a lot. Now we're getting into the flight into the wilderness, where they take their tents and provisions and leave their wealth, and they flee into the wilderness, Lehi and his family. And so now we're going on to the adventure. And the Book of Mormon starts getting going here and winding up and really screaming through the issues. And Brant, true to form, has given me some new insights in his commentary that I have never thought of before. And it is absolutely a delight. Time and again, I've come to expect this from Brant's insightful and sharp and keen mind. He is very delightful to read. If you can get this commentary, I promise you're doing yourselves a favor. But I'm going to find a place up here where I can stop, and I'll do a little bit of my discourse up here in the fog, and then I'll go back down into my library and finish off this video. The Book of Mormon is an astonishing record. The whole concept of how they keep the record through the generations, and where the righteous keep fleeing into the wilderness, that is a phenomenal pattern. Das Wandern Gottesvolk, the God's chosen people, the righteous, are taken away from the wicked. And so Lehi's family depart from Jerusalem because Jerusalem won't repent. They stone and kill the prophets. And Zenock and Zenos and Nahum and Isaiah and Jeremiah and Lehi, it's quite an illustrious group. The Zenock and Zenos prophets are not known in the biblical record as such, but the Book of Mormon people knew them from the brass plates. And we have some interesting information on visions of a certain Zenos that has been found now, and I'll get to that. But so we are departing into the wilderness, and it's a screaming foggy wilderness right now today. Holy cow. It is a foggy day. I'll find a spot up here, and I'll share this insight from Brant Gardner that is just beautiful. I am really stunned with how this expands the Book of Mormon. That's why I like reading so many different commentators on the Book of Mormon, because they do give you new insights. And Brant Gardner has insights on every single page. It's amazing to me how he brings out so much information all the time. I really am falling deeply in love with his commentaries right now. It's excellent reading. So let me find a spot to pull over, and I'll gab at you for a few more minutes. Then I'll jump into my library. It's kind of cold this morning, so yeehaw. The things I do for my beloved viewers on the YouTube. It's starting to snow. It figures. I come up here in the fog, and now it's snowing. And I'm not going to ruin Brant's commentary, nor am I going to ruin my camera by videoing in the snow. So it's awful dark too. You can't hardly see me. So I'm going to go back down into my library, and I just want to say what a joy it is to be able to produce a commentary on the Book of Mormon. It is an astonishing record. I love it. I'm so thankful to the Lord for bringing forth this fabulous record. And I'm willing to say that in public. I love reading the Book of Mormon and studying it and learning new insights into our condition here on this earth. There's no book like the Book of Mormon. I side with Hugh Nibley all the way. You can never learn too much about the Book of Mormon. So Anyway, it's too dark out here. It's really kind of getting stormy. So I'm going to go back down into my library. So much for an outdoor adventure. I've come out into the wilderness, and now I'm going back down into civilization to bring the Book of Mormon out of the fog into the light. Now, the second chapter in 1st Nephi is where things get picking up. They pick up and leave. I want to discuss some of the aspects of this in Brant Gardner's commentary. I'm not going to read his whole commentary to you. I'm picking and choosing things that I find of particular interest, and in that way, when you get the commentary, there will be abundantly many thousands of extra surprises for you. There's no way I could exhaust this thing. It'd take way too long. But there are some good highlights that I want to share with you. The idea, the content of this particular part of the Book of Mormon, I've already produced about 36, 37 videos in Lehi's Arabian Odyssey, and I won't go through that again. You can look them up on the YouTube if you're interested. The main point that I want to emphasize is that this is where Lehi obeys the Lord. He grabs his family. He leaves all of his wealth, because you can't eat gold. You can't eat silver trinkets. You can't eat clothes and precious things. You can wear them on your body and it'll just encumber you in the sands of the desert. But what he took was food, because he was on a survival trip. So he wisely left his wealth. And that's one of the things that made Laman and Lemuel mad later on in the record. After they'd been out in the wilderness for so many years, they looked back and they said, we could have been in Jerusalem enjoying our possessions. They didn't believe the prophets at all. Now, two highlights that I want to share from Brant, basically. Verse 4, they left the land of their inheritance, and so on and so forth. Now, this idea of the land of inheritance, Lehi's land of inheritance, this is in volume 1 of the commentary, page 78. He says, Lehi's land of inheritance was most likely not located within the borders of the southern kingdom of Judah. And the most likely location for Lehi's ancestral real estate in the ancient land of Israel would have been in the region of Manasseh, and this was in the north. Lehi is reported to have been a descendant of Manasseh, who was the son of Joseph, who was sold into Egypt. We read that in 1 Nephi 5:14 and Alma 10:3. The ancient tribe of Manasseh possessed large tracts of land on both sides of the Jordan River. And what I want to do is I want to show you a map of this. I think I've got a map that I can show you that I believe is very helpful. Okay, so here's this region that we're talking about. Here's Judah down here in the south. Here's the Hebron. Judah is on this side. Simeon's below him in the south. Here's the Dead Sea. He goes up the River Jordan to the Sea of Galilee, way up here. And so Judah is here in the south. Reuben's across on the other side of the Dead Sea. And then Benjamin, Dan. Here's Ephraim and Manasseh. And Manasseh's territory, here's East Manasseh, way up here by the Sea of Galilee, way up in the north. So this whole region here on both sides of the River Jordan is Manasseh. So he's in the north. His land of inheritance, Lehi's land of inheritance, was in the north. And Naphtali and Dan is way up here in the north. You can see it straight across from Tyre and Sidon, or the seaports on the Mediterranean. So Lehi's land of inheritance, Gardner says, is somewhere up here. And after the northern 10 tribes were taken away, when the Assyrians came in, they came in from this direction, came in, wiped out the northern 10 tribes. All they left was Judah in the south. So this is this region that Gardner's talking about, and it shows, we can see it on the map as described in the Bible in Joshua 13. The territory of Manasseh east of Jordan was equivalent to the area of Bashan, that's over in this area here, modern Golan, and the northern part of Gilead, north of modern Ammon, and west of the Jordan, on this side of the Jordan River, there's the Jordan River going down there. So on this side, Manasseh held territory. This is the region of Samaria. This is the idea of the Samaritan, the Good Samaritan, from the Jezreel Valley on the north to Tappuah on the south. And on this particular map, we can see that here's Megiddo, where the Battle of Armageddon is supposed to be fought eventually. Now, there is some discussion on whether Lehi was a caravaneer. That was Hugh Nibley's approach. He could have been a caravaneer, but there are some others who disagree that he was a caravaneer, that he was just a wealthy trader. trading back and forth goods and services between different regions in Israel and from the other territories. We know that the Egyptian ties were very strong in Israel at this time.